Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I'll be doing spoke right from wherever you're watching us from. Now, the new Attorney General, the New York Attorney General, that's Letitia James, calls out Mr. Donald Trump in this epic speech that went viral, and it got people talking about her reflections towards Mr. Donald Trump. And I think something that I've noticed, and I think black folks, you'll notice this. I don't know if it's me who have noticed that any black person that goes for Mr. Donald Trump in some way, Mr. Donald Trump will always try to turn it and look like the person is a racist. And Letitia James didn't stop at that. She went ahead and exposed Mr. Donald Trump and his counterpart. And I think this video is so important because since time immemorial, we've seen the president of the United States trying to work so hard to erase the Black history. First, removing down the libraries that teach Black history, the museums that teach Black history, anything that is Black, it tries to weaponize it and make it look like it is wrong. And Letitia James was calling Mr. Donald Trump for that racism. And remember, there's a case that she won against Mr. Donald Trump, which Mr. Donald Trump was charged with around $464 million for doing that, right? For his racist activities that she did. And Letitia James won against her. Now, I don't want to say much. I don't want to preempt a lot. I want you to watch this video. I'll be back, and then we'll have a discussion in regards to this. And I hope you find this video so educative. For those who are watching us for the first time, consider subscribing to the channel, join the membership, and really get to see what we can offer you. But until then, let's watch the video. I'll be back with my commentary as usual.
A few words, because let me apologize to all of the honorees. I have to leave right after I speak. Why? One, because as you know, yesterday they fired thousands of HHS workers. And they also have stopped all of these grants. And one of the grants that they've stopped, which is close to my heart, is Head Start grants. And what I heard from my beloved Bedford-Stuyvesant is centers are closing. Region 2, which covers New York, is closed. All of the workers in Region 2, again, that covers Head Start, have been fired, terminated. The HEAP grants for individuals who need assistance with heat during the winter, that has been dismantled. So I've got to rush back to the office because you know that there's nothing more close to my heart than a lawsuit. And so you tell Donald Trump the lawsuit's coming. It's just a matter of hours, it's coming. And so it's great to be in here amongst so many friends and so many kindred spirits to promote a modern civil rights agenda, an agenda that includes one standard of justice for all people and social equity for all communities. There's something powerful than being in a room full of dynamic and change-making women, because as we all know that there's nothing more dangerous than a woman with a made-up mind, and my mind is made up. Women who have stepped into their power, women who show up, speak up, and fight back, not just for themselves, but for their families, their communities, and future generations. Women who know that progress is not promised, but fought for. Our nation, as imperfect as it is, was brought into the modern world, the very concept of equality under the law. We were founded as a nation of laws, where each and every citizen would be protected by the law, but also would be subject to it, and that includes the President of the United States. And as we see efforts to change that noble history, it is incumbent upon all of us in this room, to step up and to speak out. The Constitution laid out clear guidelines on how to run our government, on how to protect our most basic rights, and on how to ensure against tyranny. Especially now, as we see the new administration in Washington on a literal rampage of lawlessness, cruelty, aggressiveness, and overt bigotry, reducing the depth and breadth of our federal government. Our standing across the globe has been diminished, and our economy is tanking right now. The purposeful destruction of our Constitution as we know it, with rapidity and and intentionality. A nation whose very existence is predicated upon beliefs of checks and balances within our government. And yet, we are seeing Republican members of Congress acquiesce, capitulate, bow down, cooperate, ignore their responsibilities and their duties. And typically this includes attacks on the concept of fairness and equality and living together and thriving in a pluralistic, multiracial democracy, one founded on respected diversity. Willful Republicans standing feckless, emancipated. The Trump administration is systematically dismantling fought civil rights gains at the United States Supreme Court, demanding states throughout this country erase our authentic experiences as Black Americans from school textbooks and from museums and cultural institutions all across this country. He issued an executive order ending 60 years of protection against racial discrimination in federal contracting and hired. In DOJ, he purged the database that tracked federal police misconduct, erasing the records of all police terminations, abuse, and civil rights violations. The administration announced recently that HUD, Housing and Urban Development, is cutting the program that fights home appraisal bias. The United States Department of Agriculture suspended the college scholarship program from students from rural and underserved backgrounds who attend HBCUs. The administration recently announced it will no longer require federal contractors to uphold government prohibitions against segregation in the workplace. And he's erasing the public display of Black war heroes in public places of honor and respect throughout our military. And you know, most recently, Donald Trump has dismantled the Department of Education, which protects all of our public school children, equal and civil rights, and so much more. And have we seen just yesterday and most recently the purging of the federal government, which disproportionately impacts Black women and women in particular. Cuts to Medicaid. The privatization of Social Security is coming. And last week, Trump announced the anticipated voter protection bill, the SAVE Act, which is nothing more than a voter suppression bill, risking the disenfranchisement of millions of eligible citizens. And let's not forget the fear that's gripping immigrants who have fallen in my arms, afraid of going to school, going to work, going to church, going to court. And this chaos, this disruption is deliberate. It's an attempt to demoralize you and to wear you down. But all of us who believe in the promise of America, who want a society built on the rule of law and who are committed to equal justice, responsible for speaking out, resisting, and using every available tool at our disposal to protect our fragile democracy. And I can think of no better partner than with Nan and I and a coalition of attorneys general, 23 of us strong all across this nation. We've been working to fight and defend America's rights from the onslaught by the Trump administration, to oppose the manipulation and the reinterpretation of our laws and our Constitution, and we have been winning. We filed legal actions, lawsuits, briefs to combat President Trump's illegal efforts, winning temporary restraining orders, preliminary injunctions, one after one after one, because we were ready. We anticipated this. And each and every day he files an illegal executive order, we strike back. And so as the Attorney General of this great state, I want you to know that we are prepared to battle to save our democracy, to not sit idly by while he ushers in a totalitarian form of government. Because democracy, my friends, requires courage. And courage runs through our DNA as a people. And we may encounter defeats, but we will not be defeated. So in the spirit of our ancestors, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Ida B. Wells, and Hazel Dukes, we will not bow, we will not break, and we will not bend. We will be fearless and fight on because we are fighting a righteous and a noble cause, because fighting is part of our history. It's part of our story. And some of the strongest souls have emerged, seared with scars and bloodied, but we still fight on. They never bowed. They fought on in honor of our ancestors, in honor of all of their sacrifice. We've got to fight on. And all of the progress that we have made, we must fight on. Because I refuse to surrender my rights. Fight on. Because I've been trained by adversity and tried by fire. Because I'm from Brooklyn. Because I'm a part of a fellowship of fighters. Fight on, because I won't slow down. I won't back up. And you can rest assured that I won't shut up either. My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University that overturned legal segregation in this country. I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you. We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing great from whatever you're watching us. I think this is much empowering as a black person back in Africa watching this video. One thing I like to say is that I've seen Jasmine Crockett and Letitia James as two bold women who are trying to represent America in all the predicaments that are happening today. And remember, people who chose to vote for Mr. Donald Trump, they chose him for, certain reasons. But I'm glad that we are having discussions in regards to this. And I'm seeing the plight of also black people, black women to be specific, Jasmine Crockett and Letitia James and other black women in different spheres who are trying to, talk. And black voices have always been instrumental in calling out all the atrocities that has been happening. And even today when we are talking, these are things that are happening, and it's really important because you get to realize that as a black person, you are endowed with the responsibility. You are mandated to protect your history, to protect your culture, to protect your blackness. And this is what Letitia James and Jasmine Crockett have been doing. And it's really important, the perspectives that they give. They're just trying to fight for the entire black community and generally the Americans. There are so many critics that came with the leadership of Mr. Donald Trump and his counterpart J.D. Vance and all those people who he is with. And people have been asking a lot of questions. What's the fate of the United States if people's culture, if people's history, if you can't go out and talk about something, you are going to be deported for saying some things. People are really afraid that they can be deported anytime, even American citizens who are born, raised in the United States. If you try to talk or if you try to say something, you're going to be deported. News stations are being sued. Just recently, you saw Mr. Donald Trump. I don't know which news station that he sued, but he sued a news station. And that shows you how fascist it can get to be, or how it can turn to be. And it's crazy that People need to talk about this. And I heard people talk say America really needs a revolution. And it's true. That's all the United States need. The United States need a revolution for it to be compact or to come compact. However, there are so many racist activities that has been shown since the inception of Mr. Donald Trump getting into the presidency. Yeah, I know people will say, oh, whether Kamala Harris or Mr. Donald Trump, between either of them, none could have made the black community be in the right position. They're just a representative of the other. They're just different people, I mean, same people in different courts who are trying to represent the elites. I know there are people that say that, but we have to deal with the problems that are on the table, right? Letitia James has really played a crucial role, especially today, in talking about all these problems that are happening. Everything that we are now like observing is as a result of the choices that people made. And I hope we all get to understand that this is not about who is the president of the United States or who represent white people or who represent black people. It is about standing for what is right. If racism is something that is happening in the United States, let's call it out. And I think Letitia James, she's playing a crucial role in doing that. So honestly, I didn't have much to say about this, but I just want to know what's your take, what's your opinion in regards to this. Let me know what you feel or what's your take in regards to this. As you know, this is your presenter, Ginger Stories, and I'm glad and I'm happy that you're doing just fine. And I'm hoping to see you in my next video. For those who are watching me for the first time, welcome to the channel and thank you for always tuning in and having this information. But until then, I'm hoping to see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.